So Crystal Palace have sacked Patrick Vieira from taking 12th last season to them currently sitting in 12th this season. It's a weird sacking, this one, especially since we have an international break in a few days and they just got one more game in 2 days until the international break. It's a weird sacking, especially the timing, but also the nature of it. So he's been sacked off this run of really poor results. But are they poor results? Well, first in where they are in the league. They're 12th in the league on 27 points. Now, they might be in the same position, but they are worse off where they were last season. Last season, they were 12th, but they ended up with 50 odd points. They're 12th this season with 27 points. So they are performing worse this season, and they are 3 points off Bournemouth in the relegation zone, of 5 points off Southampton at the bottom of the league. So they are very close to relegation. So if they're scared of that, that could be the reason. But it up front, so you look at Crystal Palace squad, you go up front. They got creative players in Lee, Zaha, Eze. They should create chances. They're not very good attacking. They're really not. Scored 21 goals in the league. Second worst in the league. Joint second worst in the league. 24 XG total. Second worst in the league. So they don't create chances. They don't really finish their chances either. But we'll get into other stuff later. But I'll just go through these stats. 34 goals against. 8th best in the league. So this is why I'm kind of surprised. Like, defensively, they're all right. Don't concede many chances. Don't concede many goals. They're all right. That probably would keep them up. It's better than Manchester United and Spurs this season. Bit strange. But yeah, this run they were on 11 games without a win, 5 draws and 6 losses, 4 goals scored, 13 goals against. So you go on the face of it like that's a really poor run, is dragging them into the relegation zone, but they've not played a single team below them in that run. Like, surely that means getting 5 draws out of these games, drawing with the likes of Man United and Brighton. Surely that's fine. But apparently not. The average team they faced this run would play 6.6. So 6th, 7th is the average team they faced, position-wise. So why would they expect them to win these games? I know you should be winning at least 1 or 2 of these games, but the expectation is probably to beat the lower-end teams than the bigger teams. It doesn't make sense. There must be some things behind the scenes that made this happen, but yeah, I don't really understand it. The problem that Crystal Palace have, I think people expect a lot of Crystal Palace for some reason. They go, Elise, Eze, Zaha, they should play attacking football, but they're not great players. Like, Elise is a great talent. He's inconsistent. Zaha's inconsistent. Eze's barely kicked the ball. He's not that great. Don't have strikers that can do anything. Mateta, Edouard, they're not goal scorers. The midfielders very below average. Probably Czechnikora is decent, not great, not terrible. Will Hughes, Jeffrey Sloop, it's not a great midfield. They lost Conor Gallagher last season. It was massive, especially in the first half of last season. But that midfield is very, very bad. Their defence is quite good, apart from right back, where it's Nathaniel Klein and Daniel Ward is not great, but Gahey, Anderson, Mitchell, that's a very good defensive back line with Guyton goal, he's alright. But why? I just don't understand the sacking. He's doing the best that they can. They got their best assets are probably their defence, and if they're playing good football, good defensive football, they're not conceding too many chances. It doesn't really make sense to me. And they still got Arsenal on the week. It's not like they got a good easy game in the week. They got Arsenal on the weekend. It really really doesn't make sense to me what they're doing, and it's a time of season like what coach are going to bring in and play better football. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So they've got Arsenal and then Leicester City. That's a massive game. They're kind of in a similar position. And Leeds, Southampton, Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Tottenham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Forest. Are you saying they won't win any of their games? You can win probably 3 or 4 games in that and be safe. If you want to sack Vieira, sack him at the end of the season. I will still give him at least 3 or 4 of those games to get results. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. There must be some internal things at the club that made this decision easier for them. But it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that he's doing the best with a squad that is 12th to relegation potential. Like, there's no potential for them to be amazing. It might be in a couple of years when Gahey's 24-25, when Elise is 23-24, when Eze might get over these injuries and start performing consistently, when Mitchell's good, when Anderson's a couple years experience with the team, when Decore's gone up. But right now, yeah, got some young players. You're 12th in the league. That's where you are. You can't expect these young players like Elise to carry a team into the top half. Zaha's been injured for a lot of his run. He's not having the greatest of seasons. It's not unless they know they can get a top quality manager in. The manager's being linked right now. Jesse Marsh, Ralph Hasenhüttl. They're not much of an improvement. Roy Hodgson's being linked. Like, that's no improvement. It must have a manager linked. There must be something happening at the club for this to happen. It really doesn't make sense. I know they're 3 points off the relegation zone, but with the players they have, with the decent defensive record they have this season, you expect them to get out of it. It really is not. It's not very smart to me, Saka, unless, like I said, they have a good manager lined up. But there's no great managers that might take a step down to Crystal Palace to go up. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But they've tried since Roy Hodgson left a year ago to go a bit younger, because they had that really aging squad. They all went out of contract, so they went younger. They bought Elise. I think they had Eze already at the club. They went Edouard, Mateta, Gahey, Anderson, Czech Decore this season, Lukonga on loan, Chris Richards as well. He hasn't really been integrated that much, but they tried to go younger. But this is what young teams are. They're inconsistent. They can go 10 games not getting results, and they don't know how to respond to it. But they can also have that potential to stride on the next few seasons. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. I don't think any manager does any worse or better with this squad. I don't think any manager can get this squad. If you compare it to the teams above them and below them, like above them right now are Aston Villa. Aston Villa got a much better squad. Much better. Look at their Aston Villa's midfield of John McGinn, Jacob Ramsey, Boubacar Kamara, Douglas Luiz. So much better than Crystal Palace's. The teams, and then Fulham again, João Paulinho, much better than what Crystal Palace have. Brentford, Brighton, better squads all round as well. Chelsea, obviously, much better squad, but teams below them, Wolves, they're level on points with Wolves. Wolves have got a better squad. They have a similar problem, so that they're not sacking their manager. They've won one of the last 5. Forest got about the same squad in terms of players' ability, probably. 14th. Everton, similar squad. Arguably better in some places, 15th. Leicester, better squad than them, they're 16th. West Ham, better squad, 17th. Bournemouth, but they probably got a better squad than Bournemouth. Probably got about a similar talent pool to Leeds, better than Southampton. So they are where they are. They're where they're supposed to be. They're a team that has the potential to be mid-table, top mid-table, maybe get into a relegation battle. That's where they are, and that's where Patrick Vieira is supposed to be. Like, they must have unrealistic expectations of him, because that's where they are, and that's where they should be. The sacking him really doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it's their home form they're worried about. The 17th in the league in home form, away from home, not great either. But it doesn't. It's a weird sacking, especially with a game in 2 days and then an international break. You would have thought at least given that game. So I don't think any manager comes in and beats Arsenal with Crystal Palace at the Emirates. Very strange. Yeah. Give your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. See you next one.